Teacher Talking Sports, what does, what do, how we live. And I believe every year since 2002, the NBA has had their GM survey where they ask general managers some of the important questions heading into the regular season. Now, I just got off of work. Just got home from work, I should say. I really didn't get to go through it, but I briefly glanced at it. So a lot of these I really haven't looked at, but they asked them 50 questions. So let's take a look. And I'm not going to go through all the questions. Let's just take a look at some of the main ones. I'll skip through ones that aren't as important. So mentions that it's been 7 years since the NBA had a repeat champion. But as you see, a lot of people, 5 out of 6. So 25 out of 30, if all 30 GMs did it, yes, are predicting the Boston Celtics to win it all once again. Meanwhile, the only other two teams that get votes are the Oklahoma City Thunder with 4 and the Dallas Mavericks with uno. So only 3 teams predicted to win it. We look at the Eastern Conference. Boston, one person picked Cleveland to have the top seed in the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference, 80%. So um, 24 out of 30 picking the Thunder. Then 2 picking Denver, Dallas, and Phoenix. No surprise there. I mean, Oklahoma City was the number 1 seed, and now they've added Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. Maybe a little surprised that Minnesota didn't get a first place vote, but I'm not sure how Randall's going to fit with them. 2024-25 MVP. So 16 out of 40 are picking SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, to break through and win his first after finishing runner-up last year. Luka has always been in the running, hasn't won yet, 30%. Meanwhile, Embiid, the Joker, Tatum, Greek Freak, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards also received a few votes. Starting a franchise today, 77% are picking Wembanyama. At the age of 21, I definitely get it. Let's skip a couple. Best point guard in the NBA. So even though Shea is projected to win the MVP, at least scoring this GM survey, more people 2 more people voted for Luka as the best point guard in the NBA. Steph Curry third, Jalen Brunson fourth, best shooting guard. Um, that's why this is weird because, yeah, SGA, as you see, is second in point guard and third in shooting guard. Um, he's more of a point guard in today's game. We'll see if Alex Caruso's in the starting lineup where he could take some of those point guard roles. Of course, the Thunder did have Josh Giddey last year. But yeah, I consider SGA more of a point guard at this point. But Anthony Edwards, no surprise winning. You see Luka and Curry also in the vote. Excuse me, getting over cold. Best small four in the NBA, nearly half voted for Tatum. And again, Luka in another vote. Best power forward, Greek Freak. You can't argue that. Best center, the Joker. One person did vote for Wemby. Team that made the best overall moves, as I mentioned. Caruso and Hartenstein to the Thunder. Of course, the Sixers got Paul George, Eric Gordon off the bench, Caleb Martin should be in the starting lineup in the Knicks. You wonder how much percent of the vote they would have got prior to the Karl Anthony Towns trade. Of course, gave up a boatload of picks in order to get Mikal Bridges also to the team. C. George easily expected to make the biggest impact. Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns finishing tied for second. Caruso definitely should play a large role. That defensive stopper for Oklahoma City, and Caldwell Pope should be a great signing as well for Orlando. No surprise that Grizzlies are expected to be the most improved team. This is a team that was the second seed, and I believe both 2021, 22, and 2022, 23. But of course, John Morant only played 9 games last season. Completely faded. Desmond Bain also missed a lot of time as well. Spurs added some veteran leadership alongside Wembanyama in CP3 and Harrison Barnes. Uh, I can't be surprised that Karl Anthony Towns is the most surprising move this offseason because it happened so late, right before training camps began. This is a tough one because, again, it's a weak, well, considered a weak rookie class. But I just don't think Reed Shepard's going to be in the starting lineup, at least to start the year for the Rockets. He got half the votes. But you figure the backcourt which should be Fred Van Vliet and Jalen Green. Zach Edey will have more of that playing time in Memphis. They don't have Steven Adams anymore. So I could expect him to get 30 minutes a game. And I can't really remember the last rookie of the year that mostly came off the bench. Maybe I'm forgetting someone. But anyhow, let's see. What else do we want to look at? Best defensive player in the NBA. We hear how scrutinized Rudy Gobert is. It's become the cool thing to talk down on him. 10% voted for him. We see Wemby got four times as many votes. Otherwise, best defensive team in the NBA, Celtics first. Timberwolves second. They'll always have that high rating. Gobert does that. Thunder third were a good defensive team. And as I mentioned, added Caruso and Hartenstein. Best head coach. No votes for Popovich. Obviously, the Spurs haven't been very successful of late, but you can't be surprised that Spoelstra got nearly 70% of the votes. Anything else I want to go over? Best assistant coach Sam Cassell. Which active player make the best head coach Chris Paul? Which team is the most fun to watch? Indiana Pacers first. Yes, that they are. Their pace is, I believe, the quickest in the NBA, and they had the second best offensive rating. Not a great defensive rating, but excuse me, nonetheless. Which player is the most athletic? Anthony Edwards easily winning the vote. Yeah, I think a healthy Morant might be my choice. I just hope he doesn't go that Derrick Rose route because I would consider Derrick Rose the most athletic. Back in the day, best passer, the Joker, four times as many votes as anyone. Um, Best basketball IQ, Joker beating out LeBron. I'll stop there. But a lot of interesting things in this GM survey. Of course, it's not to be taken for gospel. I remember the Cam Reddish draft. They voted Cam Reddish as the uh, most likely to be the best rookie in 5 years, and we know that hasn't come close to coming to fruition. So anyhow, what are your thoughts? What do you agree with in this GM survey? Do you think Boston is as clear cut a favorite as these GMs seem to make it, or can a team like OKC, New York, Philly, perhaps make them yet another team not to repeat? Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell notifications. I'm out.